fact that they ate something spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Truth Train here on the favorite podcast platform that you have chosen. I'm sitting here with the solution to all, the cause and solution to all problems, Mr. Dex Carrington.
This is true. It's so true. It's very good.
We should just mention here that this show is sponsored by Lloyd and Mellon Hot Sauce.
That's right.
Boldly go where no sauce has gone before.
That's exactly what I told them for years that their tagline should be.
Yeah. Because some people make hot sauce.
Yeah.
But some other people, they make the hot sauce.
That's right. And the thing is, Lloyd and Mellon, boldly go where no hot sauce has gone before. I said, you should use that. And they said, no. You know what that means? They weren't bold enough.
Right. But these people here are, some I don't know the whole story, but somebody has told me, it has come to my attention, that this hot sauce, there was a guy who he was married and then he got divorced because he didn't have enough money. She took the kids, she took the house, the car, she remarried. She found some other guy, a used car salesman, successful used car salesman.
Right.
And he was rummaging through the dirt looking for testosterone ampules.
as was the style at the time.
And he was kind of done with life,
Yeah.
He was kind of I'm out. I don't, and he was drinking heavily. And then he came across this hot sauce. And he was like, well, I'm going to have this last hot dog before I end it all.
Yeah.
He put this hot sauce on that dog, ate it, and some people in that area said there was something that changed, something profoundly changed that night.
That's right.
The next day when he woke up, he was getting phone calls. He was getting job interviews. He was a sought-after person.
Yeah.
He got into the weapon industry.
Yeah.
He sold a lot of guns, moved up to rockets, and then to artillery,
Right.
and then of course up to the heavy stuff,
Like
the H bombs.
Right.
He's now one of the richest people that is around. He got married again with this beautiful model.
Yeah.
And he has now new kids. He lives on a private island, and his ex-wife wants him back, of course.
Of course.
But and he eats this sauce every day now.
It's actually a very typical story.
Lloyd and Mellon.
Yeah.
Fermented hot sauce. The taste of war.
And winning.
And winning it.
Yeah, but what you're saying there, I've been down to Lloyd and Mellon headquarters a couple times, and that story you speak of there is it's a story we hear all too often down at
the phone is ringing off the hook of the same story.
The same story. So, if you're down and out, even if you're not, right, but you just want more out of life, buy a sauce today.
Buy a sauce today.
Fermented hot sauce.
Fermented hot sauce.
I must also say that, just so people know, there are a lot of great things to do in this city. And one of them is to keep your eye out for the Lloyd and Mellon hot wing, hot sauce, spice contest.
Right.
I was at one a year and a half ago, I think. And it's just people sitting there eating their body weight in sauce and wings.
As they should.
Like real men.
Yeah.
But then again, there were women there too. But those women were also being real men.
Yeah, but they're mid-transition.
But all I'm saying
they're transitioning.
This sauce is the source of all great things. And at this point, if you're standing there willing to deny that, there's a padded cell waiting for you on the other side of town.
The hospitals and the loony bins are full of people saying that this sauce is not great. And we lock them up.
They have their own wing for people who deny the legitimacy of the sauce.
Lloyd and Mellon sauce.
Denial wing.
Denial wings has never tasted better.
Yeah, it's so funny because there's an actual just to put this out there so people get it. There's an actual wing of the mental hospital called the Lloyd and Mellon hot sauce denial wing, right? And then right? A couple of really, really smart chefs got together and they made denial wings.
That's true.
And they're hard to find, but if you can ever get your hands on a dozen or two, do it.
Denial hot wing sauce. Lloyd and Mellon is a proud sponsor of this podcast. We don't know that they're proud, but we're saying that they're proud.
I like better that Lloyd and Mellon are a proud sponsor of denial. Just in general, as a concept.
Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm going to start this podcast today talking about something that is very important.
Right.
People talk a lot about the war, politics, tariffs, RFK Jr. findings, all that stuff. But I have some real problems that people actually can do something about. Okay? And the problem is a rental car. The rental car industry is a scam industry. Okay? Everybody who works within that industry is in it for the scam. Okay? It's the biggest scam that is it's revealed even, but it's still in business for some reason. So, needless to say, I had a tiny trip to Italy, and I also went to Croatia this last week. I came back yesterday, and because sometimes you gotta treat yourself for an Easter holiday.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah, I'm eager to listen to what you have done your Easter, but let's first do my Lake de Como trip.
Excellent.
Okay, so I land in Milan. I come late, I stay one night, and then I rent a car. I book it online. Everything's fine. And I'm supposed to pay 130 euros. I show up, and of course, there's a lot of stuff. There's fees, there's this, there's that. Nothing explained while booking it. Like, by the way, if you're returning it to a different airport, there's an extra fee. No. First, they lock you in, and you can't cancel it, or else you have to pay the whole sum. But if you cancel it, okay, you have to pay the whole sum. But if you want to keep the booking, you would have to pay something more. It's a 70 euro different airport fee. I was supposed to pay with Apple Pay. No, we don't take Apple Pay. You have to use the card. But I didn't bring that card. Well, then you have to pay 90 euros for this insurance thing.
Wow.
Like, they just lock you in, and then they fuck you.
You were seduced by the rental car industry.
So the company I was traveling with was called Centuro, okay? And I booked it through something called Car Flexi, okay? A website that is connecting you to all these different subcontractors, basically. So I wrote this on the Trustpilot and the TripAdvisor and everywhere. Like, this is a scam. Like, because I'm not gonna get my money back, right? So it was supposed to cost 130 euros. I paid over 300 euros for this.
It was supposed to be how much?
130.
Wow.
And I ended up with paying them 300.
Wow.
Over three. Yeah. So I said I felt scammed. They do not take Apple Pay over 1,100 euros for the deposit. And the person I was traveling with could not pay with her card because it had to be mine, which forced me to pay 90 euros for an unnecessary insurance. Plus, suddenly, there is a hidden fee of delivering it to a different airport, which was never disclosed when ordering it online. The address to the Bergamo delivery place was wrong and made me very insecure about where to return it. And I was late, of course. Which actually made me pay 70 euros in a fine because I drove, like, I forgot to take a ticket of something. I had to pay 70 euros for a fine, but that's a different story.
Wow.
This company should be ashamed, and it's borderline scamming, at least me, by telling you nothing before you're locked in with your order because you can't cancel it due to less than 48 hours. Plus, I didn't get the car I ordered. This is unacceptable and a bad business. On your part, connecting me with this company.
Wow.
This is what I wrote the Car Flexi people.
You showed them.
And then Trustpilot, I wrote this. I felt scammed, and the thing I wrote.
Right.
And then I gave them, of course, 1 star. How dare they? And then the company writes me back.
Really?
Hi, Anders Macaulay. Thank you for sharing your rating of your car rental experience with us. We're sorry for the inconvenience caused. Please contact our customer service department via the following link, indicating your booking reference, and we will reply as soon as possible.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they were going to say something like, please call our customer hotline for a free Easter egg. You know what I mean?
No, they want me to. No, these fucking.
What do they want?
And the funny part, I tried to call them many times.
Right.
I tried to call them before going down to get the car, like just like is there anything I need to think about or whatever? And like nobody picked up.
Nice.
And the same thing happened when I went to Croatia. I picked up a car, and then 70 euros for a car, 2 days. Fine. Do you want the insurance? No, I want to pay the deposit.
No.
Okay, that's 1,400 euros. Okay. And then can I use Apple Pay? Yeah, sure. And like, okay. You can't pay the deposit with Apple Pay. Yeah, but that's why I asked you, can I use Apple Pay? Yeah,
Right.
but not for the deposit. And then I have to pay the insurance, 90 euros. The insurance was more than the car. And also they wanted me to pay, and they also fucked me when I delivered the car back. Like, they gave me half a tank of fuel, and then they gave me a penalty of not delivering it back with a full tank. And I said, but it was a half a tank. No, we know in our paper it said it was full. So they wanted 37 euros of a refueling fee.
They wanted 37 euros of fictional gas.
Yes. And no, but the gas came extra. For them to fuel the car was 37 euros. And then the cleaning fee, and then I said, there was no cleaning fee. Yeah, it's a new policy. It's not in the contract yet.
Wow.
So these people.
What did they seem highly educated?
Not at all.
That's the genius of it. Because if you seemed highly educated, you couldn't get away with this.
So
you have to be there no, it's not in the policy.
Not
you know?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Right?
You have to have a weird accent.
So
And you have to be gesticulating a lot.
And then he asked me, "Are you going to take the car into another country?" And I said, "Yes, I'm going to Slovenia." Okay, that's 80 euros extra.
We're in the wrong business. This is genius.
I said, what? And I turned to I think it was Avis or Hertz or whatever, a guy next to this counter that I was at.
Right.
And I said, how much do you take for a person bringing the car into a different country? 31 euros. Okay, why do you take 80?
Right.
He smiled like, I don't know.
Not even I am above the policy.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'm not paying the 80 euros, so you can just forget about that. Yeah, but you have to pay that for bringing it to a different country. Well, I'm not paying it.
So what happened?
And then he said, yeah, well, that's just the way it is. Okay, I'm not going to a different country, I said.
Wow. Nice one.
I said, but you said that you were going to a different... No, I changed my mind. Yeah, but you did say that you were going to Slovenia. Yeah, I'm not going.
Okay, then what?
And he's like, okay. Then, but we will know if you go to a different country. How are you going to know? Yeah, we will know. You will know. Okay. Well, I'm not going, so you'll know nothing.
You'll know nothing.
And then, of course, I went.
Yeah.
Of course, I went. And then I delivered it. And then, is there anything I need to think about now? I was given the car with a half a tank of fuel.
Right.
And it was not clean. The car that I got, it was some ashtray, receipts and stuff. And then they no, nothing you have to do. And then I get an invoice, refueling service, cleaning fee, blah blah blah. Is there anything I need to think about? Is there anything that is there anything wrong?
Wow.
And also I took a picture of it when I received the car, half a tank of fuel, and they just fuck you.
Were you how much did you pay altogether?
For all the car stuff?
Everything.
I was maybe 600 euros.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
For 5 days with cars.
Wow.
Yeah.
For anyone just joining us, who's just tuning in for the first time, this is a rental car story podcast.
I mean, that's why we started it.
That's right. That's what it's always been.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that we need a revolution here.
Right.
We can't continue like this.
That's true.
It's again, this is one of those where we're stepping over homeless people. Mm-hmm. This is Well, I mean, they're just lying here. Well, they shouldn't be lying there,
Right.
right? Well, it's something wrong with society that they are there.
That's right.
Like, why are we doing this? And the same with the rental car people. Why are we allowing this?
Yeah.
What the fuck,
Yeah.
man?
Because either you stick around and try to fix it, or you buy Epstein Island and make the mRNA dome and start your own business.
Yes, it's always interesting talking to you that we can always keep it kind of on the topic. Insane. That's the perks of talking with you.
Thank you. No, but I think the genius of it is this.
Yeah.
It's something you do so seldom. No one has the energy to follow it up after the scam has happened.
That is true.
You're so happy to get out of the country. You're just like, well, thank God that's over. What are you going to do? Call back to the fucking Hertz desk in Mexico City? I mean, it's like, hey, I need to speak to Juan. He's my reference. Like, yeah, good luck with this shit.
Yeah, but like, but the person I said, like, okay, I'll pay the deposit. The person I'm with can pay the deposit. No, it has to be your card. Why the fuck does it have to be my card? What's the reason? So the reason I'm saying this is, of course, I'm mad as hell,
Right.
and I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was having genocidal rage.
Nice.
I was screaming at this airport,
Were you really?
at this guy, both places.
How did they take it?
Well, they thought I was a fucking lunatic.
But did it seem normal to them? Did it seem like they
Yes.
got yelled at all day long?
Yes.
They were used to this?
They were like, oh, we got a screamer here.
We got another one.
We got another one. We got a live one.
Yeah. Like they had been to screamer training.
And he was like, this is the policy. And again, he did say that many times.
Yeah.
It's a company. I didn't design. I didn't make the rules. Yeah, but you're kind of allowing this shit to just continuously happen.
Right.
Aren't you?
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I ordered this shit online. Nothing was said in the text. And now I'm here and suddenly I'm getting fucked, which I actually did say to him.
Right.
You're fucking me right now.
Nice.
You're fucking me.
You sound like a Coke dealer when you say it.
Yeah. I felt I was in a Coke deal gone bad.
Right.
Like, oh no, this is extra powder and it's extra delivery charges and no, the price just went up.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff like that.
Or this isn't pure.
Yeah.
Whatever they do with this.
Yeah.
But this isn't pure.
This is not pure. No, it's good.
No, but my boss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he makes this. I just sell it.
Yeah.
So if I can change one person out there,
Yeah.
listening to this, when you rent a car, call them. Make sure you got everything down to a science before you get that car,
Right.
because they fuck you.
But you tried to get it down to a science. But hey, let me ask you this: if you had been more intimidating, if you had been on more steroids, let's say, if you had been a beast, if you had been sweating, veins popping out of your neck, you looked like a guy who had been involved in bullfighting. Do you think they would have given you some leeway?
Yeah, but I did shout at the whole room was listening to me at the first one in Italy.
Right.
I was like, "Are you people just allowing this to happen?
You screamed at everyone at the
Is
airport.
this what you do?" And the same at the airport. Like, is this your business model? Fucking people.
Wait, so you were screaming at the people standing around your general area
I was screaming at everybody.
because they were also screwing you over by not stopping the madness. Right?
And then when I delivered the car in Italy,
Right.
at the other airport, which I had to pay 75 euros for, like just change, like they deliver at the same company, but just a different place. And it's just like the address I was given was wrong. It gave me a house somewhere else. Yeah, it's two different. That address has two different places, but it's very close to. But it's the same address.
Right.
But why don't you say it on the thing? Yeah, I don't know the company, man. I don't know.
The policy doesnut allow us to specify.
It's like, what's wrong with you, man? I mean, this company, it's crazy.
That's amazing. That's great.
And I'm a very unhappy customer.
Right.
I'm a very unhappy camper here.
Right.
Like, yeah. I mean, yeah. So So, and also, fuck Italy. That too.
Why?
Fuck that country.
Why?
Oh, Italy is so beautiful. You know what? Yeah, I mean, it is beautiful, but it's a third world country.
Why?
It's one of the biggest economies in the world, but it's still a rusty, kind of bad infrastructure, a lot of dodgy people. It's a fucked up place.
Were you in Rome?
No, fuck that place too.
That's a fucking shitty place.
That's a shitty place.
Rome is no good.
I want to go to Rome. Well, fuck you too then.
Yeah.
For wanting to go to Rome.
People who want to go to Rome have never had Lloyd and Melon hot sauce. Let me
That's
put it
for
that
sure.
way.
Nobody has tasted Lloyd and Melon in Italy.
And no, but seriously, Rome is so shitty. But then you go to Lago di Como, and it's pretty good.
I mean, it's nice, but the people, the culture, the people there are just, it's just like, it's a kind of like, they're way behind on many things. I was taking the ferry over to Bellagio, okay?
The gambling place?
No, that's in Las Vegas.
right.
That's a hotel in Las Vegas.
Right, that makes sense.
We're in Italy.
That makes sense.
Bellagio is like a half island kind of thing.
Right.
And you go over there, and like the hotels are insanely expensive. Nothing has been done to them for many years. They haven't changed the room since the 70s. Mm-hmm. And not in a cool way either. It's not like, oh, it's like an old room and it's like kind of retro. No, it's an old shitty room. They will rent this room like $1,000 a night and nobody would care. They would still rent it because they're desperate. There's nothing else, right? And so shitty rooms, shitty hotels, shitty prices. And like just the attitude of the Italians are just like everything. It's like they are. It's like the fucking Eastern European mentality. Like everybody's just like, they're just like hustling. They're like, everything's hustling all the time. Just like, yeah, like get some money there, get some money there. Just fuck. The culture is just fucking people.
Is it? I thought they were always eating and smoking, but
Yeah,
ironically, never
while
getting
fucking
fat.
you.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Because they're like they're lazy.
They're eating and smoking.
Listen,
while
you know
fucking
what? Fuck Italy.
Really?
They're lazy, way behind civilization. Like they don't belong in the future. Oh, they don't belong in the future. They don't.
They don't belong.
They're filthy, living with their mom until they're 50, and like they're just like they can't. They smell. Of course, I was working out there. I went to this gym at a hotel, and of course, everything was fine. There was some Australian women there working out, and everything was fine. And now this Italian guy comes in. He stinks up the whole room. I've never smelled BAO, like body odor, this way before. I was like, what the fuck? This is pungent.
Wow.
I was opening windows. It got cold, but I had to. Listen, I need to breathe.
What did the
He
women?
he was standing like this, like working out with his hand. It was like you could see the steam coming off of his like body.
What about the women? What did the women do?
I don't know. They were like, fuck, shit, what the fuck is this?
Really?
But people were continuing. I just worked out a little bit more, and I had to leave.
Right. Was he bald?
No, he had hair.
Oh, wow. That's strange.
He was a smelly Italian.
Well, I would get it if you were bald and you give up, kind of.
Lake de Como is pretty, and it's a summer place. Don't go there in April because it's cold, it's windy, it's foggy, and it's shitty.
And if you want to learn more about Lake de Como, check out the Dexpedition episode, Season 1, Italy.
Which is a very nice episode.
Thank you.
Fine episode.
Thank you. It's fine.
It's a fine episode.
It's good stuff.
But yeah, no, I just like the southern part of Europe needs to work on themselves.
Right.
Because they fuck you with the cars, with the hotels. Their culture is scamming, basically. They're just scamming artists.
But they're also good at relaxing. So sort of a scamming
Yeah,
and
but
relaxing.
scammers do relax a lot. Don't you think?
I guess you can because scamming is, I don't know, why is that?
If you go to Egypt,
right,
you're a tourist, they always like lay down on a chair and then they see you and then they raise up and like, hey, come over here, nice price for you, nice price for you.
Right.
Like the Italians are like the nice price people. No, special price for you, special price for you. Italians are on that level.
Are they?
Yeah, and for some really fucked up, strange reason, they have one of the biggest economies in the world.
Right.
They're on the top list. They're like top 8, whatever it is.
Maybe the smoking and the eating and the scamming and the relaxing.
No, but they got the cars, they got some computer industry, they got some boats, they got some stuff.
Fashion.
They got fashion. They got a lot of stuff going on, okay? So they have some stuff. But the people who are not involved in that are just scam artists.
Right. Everyone else.
Everyone.
Everyone
What
else.
do you mean everyone? Everyone!
Right. But the rental...
That's a quote from Leon.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
But the rental car sector is then obviously taking the majority of the bounty into that country.
They're basically, yeah, I think the reason why they're one of the biggest economies in the world are because of the scamming.
Wow.
Or else they wouldn't exist.
Interesting.
So you know, Italy, it's I feel sorry for them, to be honest.
What I don't like about it is everyone speaks English, but they refuse to speak English because they don't want to lose face. They don't want to sound stupid. So then they just pretend they don't speak English. That was a deal in Rome anyway.
Yeah, but there was a lot of people in Italy who didn't speak English.
But they do speak English, but they just don't want to speak English.
Well, I was supposed, I didn't know how to get from Malpensa. No, where did I land? Bergamo. I landed in Bergamo. I was asking this airport express, like, I'm going to Malpensa. He's like, no, English, no English. I was like, okay, well, he doesn't speak English. Fine. I spoke. You work with the airport express bus, and you don't speak fucking English. That's fucking insane. But okay. And then I asked another one. No English. I had to have a slice of pizza at the airport. The women, no fucking English.
Right.
This country is gonna fall.
Right.
And I hope it falls.
Right.
I want to see, because I was happy when Rome fell.
Right.
Okay? When Rome fell, I think it was a beautiful day. Do you know why Rome fell?
What was that?
Because of scamming.
Or was it?
Okay? Yeah.
Right.
They overreached,
Yeah.
scamming everyone.
That was your analysis.
Northern
at the time?
Africa,
Right.
all the way up to Germany, and all the way down to Istanbul, and the Middle East, and all that fucking stuff. They were scamming everybody.
Right.
And people were like, you know what? I'm not going to have this anymore.
Uh-huh.
And then Rome fell.
Right, because of the scamming.
Because of the scamming.
So they're poised for a new fall.
And now they're scamming again.
Right.
And they think, well, let's scam within our borders.
Right.
But it's going to fall again.
Were they also blaming the policy in ancient Rome?
They were burning Christians.
No, but were they blaming the policy when people called them out on their scamming?
Yeah.
I don't control the
It's a
policy.
country policy. It's
Yeah,
country policy.
It's just the policy.
Yeah, it's just a policy.
It's just a
How
policy.
convenient. You can just hide. Like, hey, why are you strangling me? It's just a policy.
I think that's what the Nazi concentration
Hey,
guard.
yeah.
Can't.
I don't want to kill you.
I don't want to do this.
It's policy.
It's just policy. And then, you're torturing someone for information. They're like, why? Listen, not even I am above the policy.
And it's just also like the fact that they say that, it's just like an old, like, hey, if anyone complain, just say policy.
Right.
Because then they can't do anything.
Yeah. And then it's like everyone blames the policy, but nobody invented the policy. The policy is just something that can't be controlled. It's you're torturing someone. If it weren't for the policy, you and I'd be good friends,
But I did say many times to these people, you know what? Fuck your policy, because I think this is a fucking scam right here. Like, you're forcing me. Can I cancel this car now? No. Okay.
Right.
Can I pay the deposit when I deliver the car? No. Okay. Can I have my friend pay the deposit? No. Can I use Apple Pay? No.
Wow. So nothing short of faking your own death would have gotten you out of this
So
situation.
how do I get out of this? So I can't cancel the car. And how do I get out of this? You have to pay 90 euros
Right.
extra on top. Okay, so almost as much as the car rental.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And this is a policy you're happy with? No, it's just a policy.
Right.
So yeah, Italy. I hope the whole EU collapses. That's the level I'm at right now.
Right.
I hope EU and NATO. I hope NATO collapses
Because of Hertz.
Because of Hertz. No, not Hertz. Centaro.
Right.
This fucking shitty company.
Yeah.
I think it's even Greece, which makes it even worse, by the way.
Right.
But anyway, Centaro is the company I'm talking about. Centaro is a car rental company that I hate so much that I hope not only that the European Union falls and all the trade agreements collapses, but also NATO, that NATO collapses, so that if somebody attacks Italy, I will be laughing so hard because I'm not defending that country, because everyone is by themselves now.
Because Cinciaro ruined it for everyone.
Cinciaro, the car rental company, is now making people buy popcorn and looking at the bombing of Italy.
Right.
That the people on fire now, due to a rental company, is a fact.
I know. That's great.
So that's the level of rage I'm having here.
Okay.
And but hey, man, it's only like 170 euros extra. It's not about the money. It's actually not about the money. Not at all.
What's it about?
It's about principle.
Right. It's about values.
It's about attitude, values, and trying to coexist as a human being.
Yeah.
In a world where you kind of trust, like 130 euros.
But also having enough shame to not.
There's no shame.
There's no shame.
Because he was, of course, smiling with his like ugly teeth the whole way. Because the teeth in Italy, don't get me started on the teeth.
Right.
The teeth are disgusting.
Okay, then.
In that fucking country.
For every single Italian ever.
I didn't see one fucking tooth that worked.
And I think that alone is a testament to your intelligence. That sentence.
Italians smell and they have ugly teeth.
I mean,
and they fucking scam you every time you rent a car with Cinciaro car rental company through the carflexi.com.
Right. I mean, this is the kind of nuance that makes you perfectly poised to critique culture in a very credible way.
I am Dr. Livingston right now.
You are.
Like, this is my take on a culture. But anyway.
Okay, but here's this actually brings me to something that's quite interesting, right? Because it ties very nicely into something that has been annoying me.
Yes.
Half to death recently. If, like, what most people in today's society say, right, especially on, like, Tinder, on Instagram, on Snap, like, people will just promote one thing and one thing only. I love adventure. I'm looking for adventure. I'm an adventurous person. I love to travel. I love to experience new things. And I just love adventure. Right now, my understanding of an adventure would be like an Indiana Jones movie where there's nothing but pain and suffering for him the entire time. There's a gun in his face like every 3 seconds, and there's a problem to be solved.
Yes.
People are throwing bricks at him. He's falling off a cliff. He's swinging from a rope. He's not relaxing on a beach with Mai Tais. Right. It's nothing but stress. Then on the other end of the spectrum, you have what I think these people think an adventure is, which is like everything was amazing the whole time. And that makes me so angry because that's not an adventure. You don't even, I mean, dude, some of the best parties I've been to my entire life, I can't even remember any of them because nothing intense happened. But when I got a gun in my face during a cocaine deal, that you remember.
Yeah, that's a memory.
Right? That's a memory worthy of a photo book.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is this. When you have the idea of everyone is claiming to be adventurous and everyone is claiming to be on, wanting to go on adventures, right? And I would say that a real adventure ends with you getting shot at least 5 times, minimum. Ideally, you die.
Right.
That's what I would call an adventure. But for these people, adventures is like going to a beach somewhere and then like posting a quote on Instagram, right?
Right.
So my question, just to start it off, is number 1, what is your definition of an adventure? And number 2, how does your rental car story fit into the definition of an adventure?
I love your question.
Thank you.
Love where your head's at. I appreciate that.
You know, I got to be honest, it's the hot sauce.
Again, you've changed. You have.
I mean, I'm constantly evolving.
When I met you, you were lying on the sofa begging for death.
I was, and I was
praying for death.
Hot sauceless.
You wanted to just give up. And
That's
then
right.
you had one drop of that sauce.
Mango habanero.
You cleaned your apartment and
got curtains.
And you got curtains.
Yeah.
I mean, people want to be with you.
And the whole place smells like chlorine now.
Exactly.
And the more I drink, the more chlorine it smells.
Yes, it does. But
Okay.
from the hot sauce to your question,
Right.
I think again, like, so being in Lake Tacoma, which is like everybody wants to take pictures, right?
Right.
Like I'm here, I'm experiencing, like, and then you're conflating, not you, but people are conflating that just because you're at an interesting place, it doesn't mean that you're interesting.
Yes.
That is the problem. When you take a picture of your meal at your fancy dinner restaurant.
Can I pause you for 1 second? That's the most beautiful sentence I've ever heard in my entire life. Just because you're in an interesting setting doesn't mean you're interesting. And what I think is a testament to the denial of everyone out there is everyone listening to this podcast will think, yeah, I totally agree. Those people are terrible. Not one person is going to feel like, oh God, that's me. Yeah, not one. Not one. They're all going to say, yeah, those uninteresting people totally do that.
They're idiots. It's like, the joke we wrote many years ago is like, if you're criticizing fat people, don't worry about the fat people in the audience because they're thinking about somebody fatter.
Right.
So, if like, those people are they think they're interesting because they're in an interesting place. Yeah, they are dumb because I am interesting.
Yeah.
Right, so that's their
100%
argument.
Right,
and again, if you take which I did see a lot, by the way, when I went to a restaurant, they took a pic. Like, here's your dinner, here's your meal, here's your dessert, whatever it is, and they took a picture of the meal.
Oh my God,
or the family or a date.
Do people hold on? Do people still do that?
Where are you living?
I don't leave this apartment often, but just tell me.
You mean the set?
I live on the set.
Yeah.
Things are going well for me. But anyway, you're telling me adult human beings still take pictures of the food?
More than ever.
Wow.
More than ever.
And what do you think they're thinking in their head? One sentence, like, people will love me now. Like what do you think they're thinking?
No, it's association. They're associating themselves with that meal.
Look at me. I am associated with pasta carbonara.
I bought something.
Are you serious?
That's it.
I bought a plane ticket.
I bought a thing.
I was like, first of all, I bought a plane ticket. Look at me. I'm somewhere else. Like, is that it? And then they go to a restaurant and go, look at me. I paid someone else to do something interesting.
I remember taking a boat trip from Oslo to Denmark on a shitty boat, but it's a boat. And there was this couple, and I guess they were newlywed or whatever it was. And there was this shitty hot tub on deck. And it was full of kids jumping in it, and it was just like a bacteria bath. Mm-hmm. Just a shit. And then she wanted to have a picture that she's like on a boat on an ocean, right?
Yeah.
And then she had and the husband had can you take? She wants to have a picture. She put on this really tacky, horrible bikini thing, and then down in the hot tub where there were kids jumping up and down and throwing water, and just they're going mad, right? And she was like, "Yeah, I'm on the boat between this tax-free boat where people buy bacon.
I'm on a bacon boat.
I'm on a bacon boat with a Romanian band playing I Will Always Love You by Celine Dion, right?
Yeah.
And of course, this is bragging.
Yeah.
Back in Russia, or I think they were Russian.
Right.
Whatever. It doesn't really matter, but that kind of area of the world. Listen, I'm on a vacation on a boat.
Yeah.
Right? And it's again one of these look at me, I'm doing great.
Right.
That's it. That's the whole message. I'm eating tasteful food that I have no expertise making this. I just bought it.
Yeah.
But I have now the money to buy this service. Obviously, many of them are not paying themselves, but set that aside, of course. These people are associating themselves with the winners. How many times have you seen a person standing next to a Lamborghini? Is it yours? No, it's somebody else's. Right. I'm just standing next to it.
Right.
Why are you doing that? Because it's a fancy car. Yeah, but It's not yours. What's it to you?
Do these bacon boat bathtub people, do they think that like buying a plane ticket, going to a different place, eating at restaurants and sleeping at a hotel, is that an adventure? Is that what they mean?
That is an adventure.
No, but I'm dead serious. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm so goddamn curious. Like, I remember one time I was in the United States and I was filming some stuff. It was for a job or something. I was so addicted to different drugs at the time. And this one guy, he had a whole bunch of Percocet, and they were like really strong Percocet, like 30 milligram Percocets. And that's the equivalent of like, I think like 120 milligrams of codeine. No, like 160. I don't know. It's a lot of pills. Anyway, so I traded this guy a bunch of like my amphetamine pills for his Percocet pills, right? And I had all these pills, and I was so excited about it. They were so strong. And I was hanging out with like MS-13 gang members, and the one guy suddenly freaked out, and he's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And I'm like, suddenly I like woke up like to the idea that where am I really? Like, I'm in a cul-de-sac in some sort of crazy part of like downtown LA, and like I'm with a guy who's like buying Xanax. It was really sketchy stuff. But then I end up at the airport, and I just think I can't get caught in security with all these pills, and so I drink all the pills. And I figured like this will go great. I pass out on the plane, and then they have to emergency land the plane in London. I wake up to them like shocking my chest, and they're like evacuating the plane. And I was so out of it that they had literally cut open my shirt, and I had like an intravenous of like fluid in my arm. And it was an expensive shirt. And so I started yelling at the paramedic, right? Like, I'm like, who cut open my shirt? Who's responsible for this? And they put like some sort of gas mask over my face. And then they go, 1, 2, 3. And they put me on a stretcher and pull me out and put me in an ambulance and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, I got put into a hospital there, and they asked me like, have you taken any drugs? I was like, of course not, you know, and I was like, you know, really, really out of it. And I didn't have any money because I'd used all my money on drugs down there. And then I had to get insurance money. I somehow made it back home. And when I made it back home, I found out I had a bunch of steroids in my bag. So if I'd been caught with those, I would have gotten like 3 years in prison. All I'm saying is that to me is an adventure, because that has some social currency. That's not a normal thing to have happen, right? And it only has value because I'm clean and sober now, but I'm saying that's an adventure. But like the idea that like I want to have an adventure where things are like super chill and like super comfortable, and I'm like wearing sweatpants my whole adventure. You know what I mean?
You should have taken a picture of that Percocet.
On Instagram, hashtag adventure mode.
Adventure commence.
Right? But you know what I mean? Obviously.
I think so. I don't know, actually.
Obviously, my story is insane, okay? And I can't expect everyone to be...
Well, it's a different kind of holiday. It's a different kind of Easter, okay?
And listen, I don't think... Can I just lay it down for you real quick?
Yeah, I think you have to.
Okay, here's what it is. Like, I would say that most people I meet... I think Tinder is such an interesting place because that's where you sort of have to sell yourself, right? But ironically, if you brag about yourself, who are you trying to convince? Right. You know, like I'm not trying to, like if I'm a chess champion, I would never write chess champion. I'm pretty comfortable with my chess abilities.
Right.
So everything sort of works against its own merit. But then, like a lot of times on these dating apps, it'll say like, you probably won't believe this, but one time and it'll be some stupid fucking thing. Like I almost got, arrested by a Mexican federale in Ibiza or something like that. And I think most people I meet who have sort of like a normal relationship to drugs, alcohol, partying, and life in general, they'll have maybe 3 stories like that. Like one time we were pulled over in the Midwest, and I almost got put in jail because my friend had weed, And then there'll be some other thing about being stopped at the airport and, like a roommate, like some sort of weirdo roommate you have packed some baking soda in your bag. They thought it was cocaine. They tested it. It wasn't. And then another time you were in Mexico, and then at 3 a.m., like some Mexican cartel members almost kidnapped you, but it didn't happen. And now you stopped. Like now you don't drink like that anymore. But those are your stories for life.
Right.
And then people love telling those stories, right? Because their lives are relatively boring, which, True. By the way, I'm not judging. I think it's a great thing to have a boring life. Just trust me. Right. Trust me on that. But they'll be like, oh, my God, you won't believe this crazy thing happened once. But for me, when I was in addiction for over a decade, I had like 7 of those episodes a day. Okay, where you're picking up 10,000 Xanax, the police pull up and they're like, "Who the hell are you?" And then they're looking for someone else, and you barely get away with it. And then you come home, and then you're stashing some other stuff, and then suddenly some guy calls you. He's like, "I have all the growth hormone you ordered. I don't remember ordering any growth hormone." And then they're like, "Well, you owe me 100,000 K." Like, fuck. And now you got to get a whole bunch of money. You got to sell this stuff and go to the doctor and get these pills and do this transaction. And people are threatening you, and people are yelling at you, and people are trying to fight you, and like there's a never-ending roller coaster of insanity. So 7 of those a day for 10 years straight. And then you finally get clean and sober, and then there's silence for the first time ever. Meanwhile, all these other halfway wannabe people are just like, maybe we should go to a festival. I want an adventure. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there going like, for the love of God, no more adventures. Like, please make it stop.
But wouldn't you rather have a beach party adventure rather than having, machine guns and machetes after you?
Yeah,
adventure?
but like I can't do it that way. I don't understand anyone who has like a few drinks and then like, "Ooh, I made out with the bartender." Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, because when you have one drink at that beach party, you have to buy a machine gun. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, where's the guns?
Well, luckily that calmed down once I started drinking Lloyd Melon hot sauce. But everything you just explained, everything happened until you had a drop of this fermented hot sauce. And then it all stopped.
Lloyd and Melon.
But listen, I just remember as an example, right? I'm not proud of these stories. I think it's terrible because it went way too far for me, but I went to Mexico for spring break when I was 23 years old. They gave me a couple of lorazepam, which are like downers to take on the plane. I took too many of those. I got down there. I drank a case of beer, and then I disappeared for 3 days. And I don't really remember where I was, but I know the police were after me the entire time. So that's a very exhausting thing to deal with.
Yes.
And trust me, the day you get sober and have to sort of like integrate all these stories, it's like, God damn it. Like the shame and the pain and just like, what have I done? Like, what the hell was I thinking, And I'll tell you what I was thinking at the time. I want an adventure. I want an adventure.
Right.
Like a naive, young, stupid idiot. But I must say this, unlike these pathetic halfway people who are like, "Ooh, maybe I'll dip my toe in the pool." I purchased the pool, burned down the pool factory, and shot the entire board of directors of the pool business. All I'm saying is I really don't want any more adventures, and I don't understand why these people do. So what do they mean? They can't mean what I mean.
I should be paid to be here from the government.
I know.
Because this is not a podcast. This is a therapy.
It is.
It is.
It's good. It's good.
For some reason, we're filming this and putting it online.
We're calling it a podcast.
It's
because I don't want to experience any more insanity. I don't want any more coke deals. I don't want any more debt. I don't want any more insanity. I don't want any more pills. I mean, can we calm down with the psychiatrists and the straitjackets and the padded
we
rooms?
have to calm down with the straitjackets. Calm down, please.
But if that's what happened to me because I wanted an adventure, it's not happening to these people. So what do they want? What is an adventure to them?
Exactly. I think we touched this. Like, I just want to say that we are on TikTok, and we just made a TikTok, and we just dump videos in there, and we don't look back at. We post and ghost.
So we can criticize everyone who posts as if they care because we don't care.
And we have. One video, like some videos have a couple of thousand, blah, blah, but there's one video that has like 39,000, and it just, recently put it out there. And you're speaking something that really resonates.
No, seriously. I just think people are so fucking annoying. Like, listen, if you're suicidally depressed and you go to New York for the weekend to go shopping and that cures your depression, I'm sorry, but you're the stupidest person on planet Earth.
Why?
Because there is no geographical solution to an emotional problem, you fucking piece of shit. And so...
It's true.
Yes. And so if you can actually fix your depression with some sort of weekend trip to some fucking stupid, idiotic city and be like, oh my God, so much fun, then, like, I'm sorry, but there's no hope for you in the coming apocalypse.
So this is a reoccurring theme, it seems. But here, the reason I'm showing this is not because it's a reoccurring theme, but it's because people agree with you.
Well, they won't do well in the apocalypse, that's for sure.
But people, here's like a DJ Juice 12343.
Yeah?
He's like, bring back Dexpedition, right?
Right.
67 likes.
Nice.
Another guy says, haha, totally. And then Dex, is that you, Dex? Please come back. We need to, Dexpedition is the greatest travel program. We need a new show from you. Well, living in Norway when it's cold, dark, and horrible all winter, a little trip to the Canaries to break up the circles of cold hell actually do wonders. And then 4 answers under. I live in Norway and absolutely love the darkness and cold. The cold makes me happy. The snow just brightens my day. I wish I could live at Svalbard. Well, nobody's stopping you.
He's ready for the apocalypse.
He's ready for the apocalypse.
He's ready. I love the darkness. That's what I respect.
And then somebody called Angry. Yeah, but when you're not suicidally depressed beforehand, are you? You're just low on vitamin D, which you can solve by taking a pill every day. And then whatever. And people are saying we need to be friends. Damn, and like a guy one can actually say the truth to. Love it.
Nice. Hey,
this is the aggression we need when dealing with the whining. And then the goat is back. I love these guys. People are loving you, man.
That's great. Oh my God, that's great.
People are loving it. So
do we have an email where people can send in, like?
I mean, we're on social media. We have an email. It's the truthtrainpodcast@gmail.com.
Should people just send questions to Instagram if they have questions?
Yeah, just if you have questions, send them in.
Trust me, no one has questions.
TikTok, whatever you got.
Or put it this way: if someone has a question, we failed because there should be no questions after one episode. We should cover everything.
That's true.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying that people, what you are saying, people agree with, even though it sounds insane.
Okay.
And it really does. But people agree.
That's amazing.
Which means that who is insane now?
Yeah, that's right. Who's insane now?
Right.
Okay, so I just need to throw down one more concrete example so that you can now tell me how the world actually works.
Right.
2014. The Budapest episode of Dexpedition. That was a crazy episode. We drove tanks and everything.
Again, a fine program.
Fine program. But what happened was, long story short, really, really intense that whole time. It was really difficult to do the job of 27 people, each of us, like that our video guy Tobias did the job of like 600 people. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm dating a woman that summer, and she said, she said something like, one time, my puppy was gone for 2 whole hours, and then we found him in a well. Like, it was something insane like that. Like an episode of Lassie, or like, a Little House on the Prairie, or like some sort of like children's story from the 1800s. Like, it was just, and this was like her wildest story. And then she looked at me and she said, how about you? Have you ever done anything absolutely crazy? And I said, unfortunately, yes. Like what? And I was like, I don't know. I once did cocaine and then drove a tank.
Yeah.
And then she looked at me like I was an alien. And she left, and I never heard from her again. I think she blocked me on everything. Now, ironically enough.
What lost her? The tank or the cocaine? Where did you step? When did you go too far? I mean, the cocaine, yes. I will forgive you. But that tank driving.
Yeah, no.
That's a
do
no.
not operate. I do not date people who operate heavy machinery.
Exactly.
Whilst under the influence.
I mean, yeah.
I can respect some cocaine use, but
Yes.
not in a tank.
Nobody's driving old Soviet tanks. Not on my watch.
Not on my watch. So anyway, I saw her not too long ago. She just popped up on Instagram, and then it said in her profile thing, looking for adventure.
Yeah.
Life is an adventure. Is it? Is it really?
Yeah.
Because apparently my adventure wasn't good enough for your definition of adventure.
Are you ready for tanks now?
Yeah, but like,
Has it grown on you at all?
no, but like, tell me, what does she think an adventure is?
I mean, operating the turret of a tank, not driving it.
Reloading.
Reloading the tank. That's an adventure.
Yeah, nobody drives it.
Nobody drives it anymore.
But in all seriousness, are these people going down to the Danish coastline and riding bikes?
I think an adventure is going to Costa Rica, checking in at a hotel by the ocean front, and then going eating some dinner. And then like, tomorrow we're going to go on top of a mountain.
That's an adventure.
I think that's an adventure now. But no, yeah, that's an adventure. Just taking an airplane and going to Goa, India.
Yeah.
You know, going to Sri Lanka, whatever it is. That's like an adventure.
But what's it like?
Buying a plane ticket. That's the adventure.
Is it
Packing
really?
the bag.
Buying the sunscreen.
Checking in. Having a glass of wine at the airport.
How about
Going on an adventure. That's what people do now.
That's-
And this is not only a female thing, by the way.
Right.
I know I sound kind of female when I go fan jam, but men speak like that too now.
Yeah.
Men they also do that.
You know, they all have mustaches now. All guys who are 30 plus
Really?
minus 5 years, they all have mustaches. But you have more like an Indiana Jones or like a Burt Reynolds mustache.
Hey, I've had this 2000. Like this has been like since 2010.
Yeah, but they have more of like a weird estrogenic porn star.
Yeah, it's more porn. Yeah, it's too well
Swedish porn star from the 70s.
Yeah, it's more like it's like a hipster mustache.
Yeah.
It's well groomed, right?
Yeah, but not only that, like I don't know what the hell they're doing.
But that's beside the point.
Well, no, but I understand why they would call buying a plane ticket an adventure.
But that's an adventure now. Not, well, I had to jump on an airplane that only flies chickens to Nepal. And then I had to jump off in a rubber raft because the pilots jumped out.
Right.
And I had to like have an inflatable rubber raft landing inside the top of a mountain, jumping down, skiing on that rubber raft, landing in a river. It took me to some adventure where I had to find this 3 missing rocks to make the country green again.
Yeah.
And then the children were working in camps inside of a mountain. And this guy was, taking hearts out of people's bodies.
Really? Was he saying anything in particular?
Kalima.
No way. You remember?
And then you free the kids.
Wow.
And now you gave the stones back to that village that you kind of underestimated their powers. And you said, I understand its powers.
Wow.
And you kiss the girl and you take off on an elephant somewhere.
Well, your adventures are
And
way
then
better
she
than
goes
mine.
marry Steven Spielberg. But that's also beside the point.
Right. Right.
That's an adventure.
It is. And hey, just so it's said, right? All the stuff I've done, unfortunately, were related to drugs and alcohol. And I think
You don't say. What?
for anyone who was sort of like unclear about that.
But let me ask you a question. Have you been on a holiday where there haven't been any drugs? As a kid or something?
I was in like 50 countries before I was 18.
Fuck that. Were you on a holiday?
My whole life was a holiday until I was 18.
No. Were you on a holiday where you didn't take drugs?
Yeah.
And what was the last holiday you took where you didn't take drugs? Do you remember?
What did I take?
Yeah. A holiday you took without drugs. The last one you took before you started.
Before the insanity.
Yes.
Yeah, but then we have to get to the question, what is a drug? Is an antidepressant a drug? Is Valium a drug? Or is it medicine? You know what I mean?
Okay, let me rephrase that. When was the last holiday you took where you didn't take drugs for partying?
Right. Is marijuana a party drug?
I guess.
I guess because hey, you know what's weird about this? This question is that absolutely everyone you've ever met your entire life has drinks on holiday. Who goes on holiday and doesn't have a couple of drinks? So what you're asking is an incredibly novelty question for anyone because alcohol is a drug.
Yeah, but
Deflecting?
You're deflecting big time.
Okay. So basically,
Okay, alcohol. Okay, let's say that is not a drug in this example.
right.
When did you take something like heftier than alcohol?
Right. So in my 20s.
Even though alcohol is hefty, yes.
So in my 20s, it was just alcohol and marijuana.
Where did you go?
Everywhere.
When was the last place? Cancun?
No.
Spring break?
Yeah. It was Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, right? And I lived in Canada. But before that, I mean, I did travel to all of Southeast Asia without drugs when I was a kid.
When was the last place you went where you had and was it insanity on that trip?
No.
Are you sure?
Every time it was insane. I tried to calm it down after. But I mean, I guess for so-called normal people who claim to know what an adventure is, me on my softest trips would have been it would have been the wildest thing that ever experienced.
But on this trip to Mexico, Puerto
Vallarta. Yeah.
Did something crazy happen and you didn't take drugs?
Yeah, and well, I was drinking hard alcohol and a little bit of marijuana.
And then
what happened was
stuff happened.
It was the same thing. I went into the all-inclusive hotel, right? And in Mexico, surprisingly, like in 2005, they were very, very strict about marijuana. And so what I did was I found like a gay couple at that hotel who had weed, and I bought it off them. And then I went back to the hotel room that I smoked it. Then I went out of the room, and then I went to go party somewhere else down the street. And then when I came back, there were like 6 cops in that room. And then I ran from them, but they were trying to look for the marijuana guy, and then craziness ensued, and I disappeared for 3 days.
Okay, so my point is this.
Right.
There's a point here.
Right, okay.
Because you're saying, like a lot of crazy stuff happened when I was on drugs.
Right.
My point is, no. Crazy things already happened.
Right.
And then the drugs also came along for the ride.
Yeah.
You were the ride the whole time.
Yeah, thank you, yes.
So it's not the drugs that made you crazy.
That's right.
You made the drugs crazy.
Oh, wow. That's a compliment.
I don't think so. But do you see my point here?
I definitely see the point.
Okay.
But all I want to say just for the record is that, like, I just want to say for the record.
Which record? Which record?
The official one.
The official one.
The official one that's on the internet and in the archives for the pyramids. Now, listen, I think that going abroad looking for crystal skulls, okay, and having a bunch of adventure ensue because people are chasing you and you're shooting at them, they're shooting back at you. You're maybe jumping on a train, you're jumping off a train. You're, there's airplanes, stuff like that. But everyone's sober the whole time.
Yeah,
that's more the adventure I respect.
Right.
So my adventure was more of a trailer park trash adventure, really, because you shouldn't need all that stuff to make crazy stuff happen. You know, you should just need like the hunt for an ancient artifact that you need to get to Brody's museum because you work at the university.
Is this a story from Indiana Jones? Anyway.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
I think I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what I'm trying to say here is that you're not interesting just because you're at a place. You're not interesting because you're eating a fancy meal. You're not interesting because you're standing next to a fancy car.
That's right.
You're not interesting because you're at the beach at this fancy club.
Right.
The fact that you think you're interesting, being associated with these things makes you uninteresting.
Can I also add that you're not interesting just because you're doing a bunch of drugs and drinking alcohol?
That is also true.
It's very true.
But I would just say that if that message comes across to just a couple of guys here, or a couple of gals, we have saved some lives and we're improving society.
Yeah,
and also that Italians should be bombed as soon as humanly possible
because of Hertz,
because of the Centraro car rental company.
Right.
I would gladly watch Rome burn again. Because of the car rental industry in that country.
And again, we don't condone violence. We just condone violence against the right people for the right reasons.
We are against violence.
Right.
Just for the YouTube algorithm to be perfectly clear.
Right.
We're against violence.
We're pro hot sauce.
We're pro hot sauce.
But we're against.
And this, by the way, is violence. in a bottle. Contained violence.
You know, just waiting for you to say it.
Lloyd and Mellon.
Someone had to say it.
Lloyd and Mellon. Contained violence that really packs a punch.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Lloyd and Mellon. Even NATO doesn't stand a chance.
You know, finally some truth.
Finally.
Finally some truth.
So,
okay.
I thank you for sharing.
Okay.
I thank you for sharing
Right.
your story
Well, I mean,
and your examples, and I think this will help people.
but I just listen. Can I just throw a little appeal out there, okay? Because sometimes I feel like I'm fucking crazy, okay? Because all these people, okay, who are out there like, oh my God, I'm so interesting and amazing, and I want to, and then all they're doing is buying a ticket, they're showing up places, and they're taking pictures of fucking restaurant food, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell's wrong with you people? I remember being in like Beijing, okay, being escorted by like 28. Okay, military officers. Okay, and then it would have been
always crazy.
Yeah, no, but it would have been the perfect picture for Instagram, but I didn't take it. Why? Because I wanted to be in that moment, and I don't want these idiots to be just like, ooh, you know what I mean? Or let's be way more honest about it. I don't want these idiots to like me, is what I was actually stupid enough to say right now. I don't want these people to just look at me and feel shittier about themselves because it's not even real life. I was depressed when I was walking with all those military personnel outside the Bird Stadium in Beijing. Anyway, these people who want adventure, who have never done anything, who aren't interesting, who post all the fucking time, they look at me and they look at my Instagram and they go, he's not interesting, he's not cool. Everyone needs to just completely shut the fuck up and listen. Listen, you know, in these 12-step fellowships, right? I can't say the name of it, but it's very near the beginning of the phone book. All right. So when people come in there and they're all fucked up from drugs and alcohol, all they do is talk. They got a lot of opinions and they got a lot of things to say. And they always say this, I need to take up a lot of space in here. It's good for my recovery. Only when they shut up do good things happen. And it's the same with real life. Shut your mouth and listen. Stop posting and listen. And if you started listening, you would hear all the other retarded idiots posting their food, posting their uninteresting lives. And then you would see, wow, that's me. Yeah. I'm terrible. And then great things can happen. Then you buy some hot sauce and everything starts to improve.
That's true. You can finally live again. But this is a bigger problem because like these women that just went to space with Jeff Bezos' rocket, like 5 women or whatever, and everybody was taking selfies. You're in space.
Yeah.
They were technically not, but okay, but they were like floating, okay? You're in space.
Yeah.
And you're taking selfies and watching into it like you're looking into a camera. Like, look out the fucking window.
Yeah, that's right.
Live. This is your one moment.
This is the adventure you've been claiming
This is
you
the
want.
adventure you've been like. I want to be on a mission. Okay, I'll take you to space, and then you take a fucking picture of it.
Even if these people got the adventure they think they want, they wouldn't even be on it. They would just be taking pictures of themselves. You know what I like about me? I have enough self-respect to hate myself.
Yeah.
And I can't stand looking at myself in that camera that faces me. It hurts me physically to look at me because I've done so many terrible things.
Yes.
And the fact that most people don't have that kind of shame with regard to their own face, I think that's pitiful.
I think so too.
And I think it's an unacceptable thing.
And that's why I like you. I like you because you hate yourself. So I don't have to. People, thank you.